Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. We are going to talk about the guy who should have been in prison for the rest of his life, but because he's an illegal alien and Democrats are stupid, they let him out and he ended up stabbing an innocent man to death. We're going to talk about a teacher who is expressing his frustration with the inner city that 19-year-olds and 18-year-olds that are graduating from his school can't even read, which is insane. Instead of worrying about the white man, you probably should worry about reading in your own community. More line from Dr. Umar Johnson on the Nolan Wells case. And before we get to any of that, we have to talk about some updates in the Nolan Wells case. And I don't know what to say. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country. Welcome back. I want to first of all give a shout out to the members. I appreciate you guys for joining and subscribing to our membership program, whether you're a rookie, officer, SWAT team member, or a deputy chief. We love you. We appreciate you. You are the reason that we can travel and do real journalism because the mainstream media won't do it. So we have to do it and do it with integrity, and it's because of you guys that we're able to do that. Make sure you join my Substack if you'd like to see the articles written in, or the topics in written form. Also, download the podcast. Give me a rating on the podcast. Give me a review for the podcast if you like listening to the Officer Tatum Show on the podcast network. Before we get to this story, I wanted to start with this story, but I want to pivot real quick. I want to pivot to that conference. So there's a press conference that Benjamin Crump had at the NABJ, the National Association of Black Journalists. Now, I want y'all to put your thinking cap on, and I want you to, if you were a betting person, do you think I'm welcome at that place? I'm just saying, because it's funny that black people are mad at me for doing real journalism. I'm not saying all, because we know the same black people know what it is, but why are black people mad at me because I interviewed, and then the black people didn't want to talk to me? Benjamin Crump and them, I reached out to them, they didn't want to talk to me. And then the other side reached out to me, and we were open to do an interview with anybody. And they mad because I won't be biased for black people. That's called stupidity. And the same people that would invoke Martin Luther King is mad because I won't judge a person by the color of their skin. I'm judging them by the content of their character, and they mad. So here's the press conference of them addressing the cell phone issue, because as you know, if you've watched me, you won't hear from other people because they have a vested interest to lie to you. But if you listen to me, you know that the family and the attorneys representing the family did not give over the cell phone to authorities for them to investigate and potentially make arrests according to accusations that things had been deleted from the phone. Here's their response in their special press conference at the NABJ. Roll it.
What the agreement was that the DA's office, and this is the Jackson County DA's office, as well as our forensic team, and possibly the FBI, were going to together download and examine the phone. So it's done one time with everybody together, right? This is very common in the law. I mean, what you all may be more used to is when there's a terrible car accident, and then there's an examination of that car, and everybody comes together one time. They don't move that car around, and everybody does their own thing. This is what is supposed to happen. We're waiting for the DA to determine the time, the place, the date. Let us know, and we are going to be there with our forensics team and anybody else, but it's done one time, one examination. We're ready for it to happen.
All right, so they're alluding to Nancy Grace. If you're out there, hey, Nancy. They don't have the phone. They haven't given the phone over. Clearly, I said it on your show, and now everybody else can hear it. Let me tell you why this is nonsensical and why it's hypocritical in part and why it frustrates me. Y'all got to think, I'm not looking at this where I'm on team black or white. I'm just Brandon Tatum observing what is happening in this case. Why would she give an analogy of a singular car accident where they do an examination of that car accident one time? Well, the autopsy is not a one-time occurrence. You guys had a secondary autopsy done. Why can't you give the phone over to investigators and then have a second extraction done for your people? Why do you have to wait a month? Like, the thing is I don't know what the prosecutors are evaluating in this situation, but this cannot be precedent that's set that a family get a chance to say, I don't believe nothing that the state does, and we need everything to be delayed and evaluated with our team and their team on every single case that happens in the state of Mississippi. There's been 3,500 black men, black women have been killed by black people in Mississippi in the last 10 years. Do you think every family get a chance to sit down and say, my child is a victim, we have to go over every forensic extraction and evidence with the DA? Every family get a chance to do this. That's not reasonable. Let me let them finish because it's a lot more to get into. Roll it.
Nolan birthday is next Wednesday, August 19th. It is going to be extremely difficult for his mother, his father, and his family, because this August 19th will be like no other that they've ever had for the last 19 years. I mean, it's a milestone when your child gets to be 18 years old. You try to breathe a little easier, Reverend. Now you say, man, we almost got them there. They're at the cusp of being an adult, cusp of manhood.
As a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, I'm the second vice chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. We are demanding a full federal investigation. Kash Patel, we're demanding a full federal investigation as to what has actually happened to Nolan Wells.
So let me put this in perspective and we'll let them finish. This is why I'm frustrated with how they're acting. It's embarrassing to a certain degree. They come out and they do a press conference like this and they go, we are demanding that the boys that they are accusing of potentially killing Nolan have already given their phones over to the FBI voluntarily. Why don't you tell the public that they are cooperating with the FBI already? It's because you don't want the public to know that the other side is doing anything so people can continue to foster violence against other innocent people that are not involved in the murder of Nolan Wells. This is what frustrates me. These people can be honest. It ain't about black or white, this side or this side. Just be honest with the public about the investigation. Y'all haven't given over the phone to nobody. Not local police or the FBI. They're getting ready to present evidence to a grand jury. They don't have a phone. They may very well have determined that, or may not be able to determine that anybody did anything to Nolan. But if there was something deleted from the phone that is a crime of tampering with evidence, people will go to jail. But they're getting ready to present to the grand jury with no phone. Therefore, if somebody did something, they have no evidence. And the grand jury is going to come back and say nobody did anything. And they're going to be mad when y'all the ones didn't give the phone over. You can give the phone to them the day after he died. If you suspect things have been, so it can be preserved. And they could extract it. Send it to your people. Let them extract it. A secondary extraction will allude to tampering if the state decided to tamper with the phone. It frustrates me that our country is divided because people are stupid and evil. It don't make any sense to me. Let her finish.
We want to make sure that every stone is unturned because his life matters. All of our children's and our families' lives matter. And we must fight back. We must stand up and we must demand accountability for this family's loss.
Why are you demanding accountability when there is nothing that has happened that will lead you to believe that they're not doing a fair investigation. If I sit here before Benjamin Crump and say, what have they done that's unfair? They lied and said that the sheriff made a determination. He cannot. It was the day they found his body. He did not make a determination. Why are you lying to the public? He said, at this point, we do not have evidence of foul play. It appears to be a drowning, but there needs to be an investigation. That is what was said. But they get on TV and they blast it out there like, look, he already made a determination and nobody know no. It's impropriety because at some point in history in Mississippi, black people were done wrong. So therefore, every investigation is false. Every white person is wrong. That's not fair or reasonable. Let Stu Head give another statement. Roll it.
It's about the evidence, nothing else. And this family has always said from day one, even when I called Reverend Allen, we talked to him, they have been consistent. We want to know what happened to our child. Everything else is just, it's just clickbait and everything. It's about what happened to our child. Black press, NABJ, we need you now more than ever to keep everybody focused. What happened to this 18-year-old black teenager in Mississippi? Because there have been questions when you look at the history of the Deep South where young black people are unalive and nobody ever gets any answers. Well, we want Nolan Wells not to be like many others that came before him.
And that is why, as I said earlier, August 28th anniversary.
And this bobblehead is going to talk about marching somewhere. They're marching. They're demanding the FBI. They're demanding accountability with no evidence that there's no accountability. They're doing an investigation just like they do with everybody other 35 other black people that have been murdered. Why are you insinuating that they're not? That is leading to chaos, drama, and division that does not need to happen. And why does it always seem to be black people doing this? I feel like when white people get killed, even if it's suspicious, they're not out here marching and crying and spitting on everybody because what happens is when you cry wolf so much, people don't believe you. When it comes out that Nolan drowned, what do we got? What do we do to believe from the National Black Caucus and all this? All right, super chat, $100 super chat. Thank you so much for Jared 40. You do an awesome job. Keep up the great work. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Let's get to an arrest that was made. Now, mind you, when you're looking at this impartially and you're saying, why does these white boys need attorneys? Why are these white boys doing interviews? Why are their parents doing GoFundMes and all this stuff? Y'all done put it out there that people think they killed Nolan. And so people who think that these white boys killed Nolan, when there's no evidence that happened, are now threatening to kill these white boys, their family, and they have been arrested. We have seen not one arrest on Nolan's family, although they're claiming there's a lot of threats against them. I accept that, but there's nobody that's been arrested. The threats have not gotten to the level where people can go to jail. This is now 4 or 5 people that have been arrested and threatening the boys that was just his friends at the island. Look at the news story. Roll it.
A man in southwest suburban Berwyn was arrested for making death threats against people who were involved in this unresolved case. Now our investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy in studio revealing that Berwyn man's violent history and has the first photos of this accused threat maker. Chuck.
You do, Allison. Stephan, the Berwyn man's name is Edward James Porter, now facing federal charges in the Nolan Wells case for allegedly threatening to murder witnesses and their family members. 33-year-old Porter is being transferred by U.S. Marshals to the courthouse down in Mississippi. Our investigation of Porter's past finds a Metro Chicago man repeatedly described by authorities as a threat to safety because of his numerous arrests for violence and saying he was going to shoot people.
Bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking.
The heat index was a broiling 105 during last month's July 4th holiday weekend here on Horn Island, Mississippi. 18-year-old Nolan Wells had taken a short boat ride with friends, but didn't return home with them. His body found 2 days later, face down in the water. With no resolution to what happened, his family and national civil rights leaders have raised questions of a racially motivated killing. And then, as NBC Chicago's investigative team reported last week, a man living in this West suburban Berwyn apartment was arrested for allegedly making death threats to witnesses in the case, to kill them, anyone in their homes, and any cops. Porter is also accused by federal prosecutors of threatening to cut up one witness and stuff the remains into a suitcase. Now, NBC5 Investigates uncovers the first photo of Edward Porter. This picture is from the Cook County Jail in 2025. But records we've obtained show Porter's criminal history began years earlier, in 2011, with 24 arrests.
Think about this. White people so bad in America, and racism is so bad in America, that when a black boy died, black people threaten to kill people. Like, what? I just don't understand. And then they go, the system is against us. Look at this mother track record. Look at his arrest record, bruh. Some of y'all ain't had a job this long. Some of y'all ain't consistently been on a job this many years. He is consistently breaking the law and getting out of jail. What happened to black people when they get in trouble, they get wet? Look at this. Most of y'all watching have done nothing from 2011 to 2026. One thing, some of y'all ain't been married that long. Roll the clip.
To follow for domestic violence, breaking court orders of protection, and theft. A city and suburban drifter with no known ties to Nolan Wells or Mississippi. Porter had an Illinois firearm owner card and a handgun that were taken from him when police say he threatened his ex-girlfriend, quote, "I'm going to shoot you." Charges later dropped when she stood down, and it's not known whether the FOID card and gun were returned to Porter. But now, after numerous gun violence, assault, and threat charges by Chicago authorities, most later dropped because the victim wouldn't testify, Porter is facing his first federal charges, accused of inserting himself for unstated reasons into this death mystery in Mississippi. The case against him, according to U.S. investigators, has a trail of cell phone calls from Porter to Mississippi witnesses and IP addresses, all linking back to him and this Berwyn apartment where he was living. When Porter was arrested 11 days ago, Berwyn police accompanied federal agents with the Chicago FBI field office apprehension team. According to Berwyn police records that NBC5 Investigates obtained under the Freedom of Information Act, Porter did not put up a fight. He's due at a Gulfport, Mississippi courtroom on September 3rd. That'll be the first time he's seen down there.
So strange that he even...
This is the stuff that I be talking about. All right, let's get to some haters real quick, because I want to put these people on blast so you guys can see the energy that I'm getting as it relates to, it's the random folks line, as it relates to my coverage of Nolan Wells. I want to put this in perspective real quick. I saw the case like everybody else. I've seen the playbook 100,000 times of jumping to racism when race is not even apparent or there's no evidence of race. And then I'm watching it would appear to be innocent people being accused with no evidence. But, hey, that's not I don't know these people. I reached out to Benjamin Crump. Hey, Benjamin Crump, what can you tell my audience? What do you know? Because what it looks like to us is that there's no racism. There's no impropriety yet. They don't respond. The other side responds. Hey, we would like to do an interview with you. They vetted me. We interviewed. I interviewed the kids. I put the interview out. People didn't even have to mention my name. I'm not a part of the interview. You can just listen to what the boy told me after I asked him questions. Make your judgment. But instead, I get so much hate and people saying I hate my own people and threatening to kill me because I interviewed white boys that they said knew what happened to Nolan, killed Nolan. Here's some of the people that's ridiculously lying about the whole thing. Roll the clip.
Did you catch this in Random Tatum's interview?
About
anything else that was mentioned, thousands of lies. And now, oh, the audio comes back and all of a sudden we can hear Nolan yelling in the background, screaming, you know, we're screaming about how he's dead. That's just a complete lie. And it's another lie.
Release the audio of the staged video then. Release it.
That's a big slip up. It's a big mistake to say those words when you were actually there.
We have the video. We played the video. The reason we don't play audio is because some people are saying things and they're not involved. And some of the things that they're saying is maybe embarrassing to them. And they're not involved in this. But Nolan is not on any of these boats that's in the video. To protect other people's privacy that have nothing to do with this case. That's the only reason why we haven't put the video out and played the audio. Because other people's voices are in it. People are talking in the background. And it's not reasonable. Look at this bald head heifer. Roll the clip.
Officer Tatum, I don't f with you. And you know that. I don't know why you even like my post. Did you think that I was coinciding with you? You gotta be out your rabbit ass coon mind. Let me explain something to you. The only reason why I use your screenshot is because you say it's always two sides to a story. The side that you on is Casper the Ghost, and you ain't over here with Aunt your mama. Let me break it down to your mother. Casper the Ghost is white and Aunt your mama is black. Let's talk about it. You want so bad to make these little white boys to be innocent. But what about that black boy named Nolan Wells?
Time out. I honestly believe that the white boys, in my opinion, the white boys and their family, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, I almost feel like they want justice for Nolan more than anybody else. They the ones putting themselves in jeopardy to do an interview, to tell what they know and what they don't know about what happened to Nolan. All right. All right, this bald head fool said this, but she used my content, and she was bashing people because they were mad at her, and she used my stuff. And the only reason she made this video, put her bald head self back on here. The only reason she made this video is because she was getting backlash from black people, and she couldn't handle it. This fool went and took my picture and put it up there and mentioned that people cannot compartmentalize, and there's no evidence of a crime in this Nolan Wells case, which is consistent with what I'm saying. But then she get backlash and want to do this. This why y'all ain't ever gonna be nothing. All right, continue. Not her. Do the next clip.
The black community knows when it comes to the king of the this is the final boss. This wears a super cape for white folks. And listen, let's not get it misconstrued. I'm all for holding the black community accountable. I think everybody should be held accountable, regardless of race. And if you know anything about this podcast, the history of this podcast, I've always held my own people accountable. But what I won't do is just make it seem like what he's doing, which is he only holds black people accountable. Everything you do is about black.
I want y'all to go after this video and look at my social media and look at all of my social media. These people are so deranged. It's crazy to me. What happens is when you are a community of people that want no accountability, when someone mentions accountability for you, you flip out and you make it all about you. If you look at my social media, I hold everybody accountable. When you cutting up, you cutting up. White police officers, black police officers. White politicians, black politicians. Democrats, Republicans, I call everybody out. And to be this stupid and to be a grown man to say that I only call out black people is crazy. The difference is when I call out a white person doing something wrong, I feel like white people generally, hey, we don't claim that person. Black people, a man can kill 400 black people and a white cop kill him in a justified shooting. Black people mad at you. I wrote a whole book about police incidents where I criticize police and I criticize suspects. And these ignorant Negroes can't help themselves but say, all they do is talk about, I wish we could pull up my Instagram. I know we can't. We won't run out of time to do it. Scroll down my Instagram. Hold on. Is there a way to pull up my Instagram up and scroll it? Probably not. Let me keep talking and then we can try to stand by. I just want y'all to see the perspective of what's going on. Like, On YouTube, we're covering the Nolan Wells case, so most of it is about Nolan Wells. But the general rule of thumb of what I do on social media, and I'm going to let y'all be the judge when we scroll the Instagram, and you tell me, out of all the breaking news clips, do you see it just being holding black people accountable? God of mercy. But roll the clip.
Shame. Is some of it warranted? Absolutely. But both sides. I don't know what it is about white pussy that make you forget who you are. And I'm not against interracial love. Love and loyalty is hard to find. So wherever you find it, love it, embrace it, do your thing. But not at the expense of you kicking the shins out of black people and pulling the rug from under us.
But the black people I do support, they blind to it. All the black Republicans that I campaign for, that I support, that I endorse, that I celebrate, they hate them, so those black people don't count. All of the black men that I post about that do incredible things, all the other black conservatives that follow me, that we share each other's content, they don't count. They not black. They don't count. If I support them, I love them, I elevate them, they don't count. These people are so stupid. Do we have it or no? Can we do it on the computer here? Let me see. Let's keep going. Let's go A6.
The MAGA effect is in full effect. Let me tell you why. We just saw the interview with Officer Race Tatum and now the four boys, which is insane. So here, number one, here's how the MAGA effect works. They have to first become the victim and convince the whole world that they are the ones that are being victimized, right? Not so much. Now they're going to sue the world. They can't do a GoFundMe because that's not going to work. They have to do a Give, Send, Go because that's the only platform that will let people like this actually grift off their best friend's unaliving. It's them against the world. What do they think? They're Tupac? Not. They're no Pac. Now, they have that bogus-ass list of influencers and media and all these people trying to get justice for their best friend. They've raised $165K. That is not enough money by a long shot to sue like all 85 people they want to sue for defamation. By the way, you cannot sue for defamation until this process is completed and we actually know what happens to know if anybody is actually lying. Now, they go on the conservative Officer Race Tatum's podcast. They have TMZ now playing in their pocket, all MAGA-driven media, ABC, CBS. It is all about the optics that are being orchestrated, allegedly, by somebody else. We don't know. Now, they say there's no race involved. There's no race involved in Mississippi. This is like going to the Playboy Mansion with a bop and everybody says you're the one who dirtied the grotto water. Does anybody believe in that? It's you, Mississippi. Wow, we continue to see people hung, people killed in Mississippi. You're still playing in our faces like Mississippi doesn't have a disgusting history? Now, everybody is focused on Horn Island, and literally, Nolan is being buried every single day over and over.
All right, I'm
instead
tired
of
listening
focusing.
To this weirdo. These people are stupid. Why would they get attorneys? Because they're being sued. Nolan's parents sent them a letter telling them they need to preserve text messages and phone records and all kind of other stuff in preparation to sue them. That's why they have a defamation attorney. I'm trying not to get upset about this stuff. It's just people, I can't believe people are so stupid. I just can't believe it. Like, I can't believe that people questioning me in this whole thing because I interviewed somebody. We'll skip over this. That dude is a weirdo. He's a nut job. I don't even want to give him any airtime. Maybe we'll do some stuff on Umar Johnson. Before we get there, I want to tell you guys to go to tatumstore.com, tatumstore.com if you want some really cool merch. I love Jesus, and I have to love Jesus and pray every single day to keep my mind sane. I want to go off the handle and cuss people out and everything and threaten them. But I don't do it because I love the Lord, and he keeps me accountable. Go to Tatum Store if you want one of these shirts or any of our other cool merch. I'm going to have to jump quick to an interview, but Dr. Umar Johnson is the stupidest man. And like I feel like a lot of people in the black community don't think he's a problem. I'm a problem, but he's not a problem. Roll the clip.
I believe Nolan was deceased before he hit the water. And the reason they held on to the throat tissue and the reason they held on to the lung tissue is they didn't want nobody to know that Nolan was murdered before he hit that water. Just like Emmett Till was murdered before he hit that water. Just like Dr. King's brother, A.D. King, was murdered before he hit that water. Remember, Art, when Dr. King's brother was murdered, Reverend A.D. King, they found him in a swimming
Time
pool.
out. To put the math equation together, why would the district attorney, for the medical examiner, risk his or her, I believe it could be a her, risk her entire career to lie about one kid? And we already know that Warren, whose stepmother is a judge, wasn't there. Jax wasn't there. Morgan wasn't there. Bart has an attorney and he's suing out of all y'all that lied on him. He had nothing to do with it. So we know all the boys that they put out on the media. Katie, it appears Katie has nothing to do with it. Everybody that they put out there in the media seems to have nothing to do with it. So why would the medical examiner lie, risk her career and go into prison to lie about one kid? That was an incredible kid that everybody loved. That it appears that nobody did anything to. He just drowned. Let him finish.
They ruled it a drowning. And then one of the paramedics said what, Art? One of the paramedics who took Dr. King's brother out the pool, Art, said he didn't have no water in his lung. They kept the throat because it may have shown some trauma that Nolan may have gotten choked out. And then you got the red substance around the back of the head that the D.C. medical examiner discussed.
He didn't discuss
We don't know
anything.
if Nolan got hit in the back of the head. We don't know if the blood simply drained to the back of the head. But
Pause. Let me tell you what these mindless people, what the problem is, what they don't do is they don't go to the next step. They do this in Charlie Kirk's case. You said he got strangled and murdered. Describe how did that happen? If he got strangled around his neck, are you saying somebody grabbed his neck? Or you saying somebody tied something around his neck? If he's somehow strangled, he's going to have damage to the external part of his neck. If somebody, and you think a 6'3" potential NFL football player is going to let a little scrawny white boy hold his neck like this and choke him out and then throw him in the water. I've been around those boys. They not that big. Nolan seemed like he was big. He's a football player. And they somehow choke Nolan out like this, squeeze his neck, chokes him out. Then he's on the boat, dead. You can't, on the call, there's no evidence how he died, but he dead. Just say he dead. And the call is alluding to the fact that these people are surprised that he's dead, right? So you got the girl and others, he's on a boat, and they're surprised. So that means that he died somewhere else but the boat because they didn't witness him die because they sound surprised on his fake narrated call. And then they don't get to the next conclusion of how did somebody kill him. But then while he's struggling and while people are panicking and screaming that he died, Wyatt calls Cito. So he could be on a recorded line with evidence of him killing somebody in the background. On a boat that his foot could probably touch the end of the boat. Or at least if Nolan was on the boat, he could touch his foot to the boat and be driving it with his foot at the same time. He called him. He know what Cito is. He got a membership with Cito. They're after all the time. They know it's on a recorded line. I bet you $1 million that when you call Cito, they tell you it's on a recorded line. Or you know it's on a recorded line because it's an emergency. I got a dead man in here, they call it Cito. They know they killed Nolan, they call his mama. Hey, do you know what Nolan's at? We looking for him. They know he dead. They go, hey, we have his phone. Y'all can come get it. They put him out there. They go look for Nolan. Then they go do interviews. Their lawyers let them do interviews, but they killed Nolan. You can't be that stupid. All right, I'll get you an interview. I know a lot of y'all are worried about this lettuce disease. It's not a disease, it's a foodborne illness that's giving y'all explosive diureticals. And I know y'all want to know solutions to the problem, and we got solutions for you. I interviewed an incredible young lady from Brightcore, and she's going to tell you how or some solutions to help you in case you end up getting sick from lettuce and pooping your brains out, okay? Let's get to that interview. Roll it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about this topic. It's called Cyclospora, and you ain't going to remember the name of it, but just know if you eat something and you have explosive diarrhea, you probably want to remember this. This is one of probably the most viral foodborne illnesses that is going around the country. A lot of you guys have heard a lot of chatter about it. Let's pull up this chart. It appears that there's about 4,100 people just last week, according to the CDC, that has been, I guess, contaminated by this illness. And that brings the total to about 30,000 people that have it across the nation. Now, I know that people may think, well, it's 300 million people that live in the United States of America. But when it's you at work or on an airplane with uncontrollable diarrhea, I think it means a lot to you. And you know who they're going to blame, right? They're trying to blame RFK. Like they always do. They cannot be reasonable. They have to blame RFK for what's going on in this outbreak. So I want to talk about this because I think people need to know or have solutions for if this happens to you and you end up eating something that makes you ill. We have some remedies for you. And I want to bring in Allison Karpowicz, she's a health advisor at Brightcore, and y'all know our friends over at Brightcore always have incredible information for us. And she's going to share some preventative measures as it relates to this Cyclospora. Allison, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This Cyclospora outbreak is so much more serious than people may realize. People get giggly when they hear terms like explosive diarrhea, but the fact of the matter is over 1.5 million people die each year from foodborne related illnesses. Now, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the count now stands at 707 laboratory confirmed cases, but the agency is aware of more than 11,500 additional cases that require more investigation. Now, obviously, they're hiding the real numbers. Like you said, there are over 27,937 cases across the country. And just knowing the deception of the CDC and other government agencies, the numbers are probably even higher than that. Anecdotally, I know a lot of people who have had it, so I definitely suspect it's higher. Now, I'm going to give your audience some very valuable tips about what to avoid so they can minimize their risk of contracting this terrible parasite. But first, I think it's important to address what you said about RFK Jr. being blamed, which is just a ridiculous assertion. So under both Biden and Obama administrations, there were multiple salmonella outbreaks resulting in thousands of illnesses and hospitalizations. In this case, I want to point out recent changes made by the CDC and FDA, who cut their funding and have cut back on food safety surveillance. The CDC narrowed required food net pathogen reporting from 8 diseases to just Salmonella and E. coli. And the FDA has reduced routine inspections and delayed food traceability rules amid ongoing foodborne outbreaks. And everything that these institutions have done since the outbreak started has been a complete mess. So the FDA initially identified the source of the outbreak as iceberg lettuce from Taylor Farms, which prompted Taylor Farms to issue a full recall of all of their lettuce products. Then they reversed the position, saying that the test result was a false positive. How does that happen? I don't know. Taylor Farms continued the full recall anyway. It's a mess, and they have yet to identify a confirmed particular source for this outbreak.
Yeah, I think we should bring up a clip, and I think we have one in the. Here you go. We have the clip ready. Let's roll this clip. I think this is valuable for the audience.
Now at 5, the outbreak of that nasty stomach bug, Cyclospora, continues growing in North Carolina. We received some new numbers from the state health department today. There are now 561 cases statewide, up from 307 cases last week. A majority of those cases are actually in Wake County. The county reporting 350 cases compared to just 295 yesterday. DeJuan Hogarth joins us live now. And DeJuan, health officials are still trying to track down the source of this outbreak. They have some thoughts, but nothing definitive yet.
Yeah, Stephen, that's even right. As of tonight, we're receiving new information from the State Department of Health and Human Services about the potential causes for the cyclosporiasis outbreak here in North Carolina. And they now say that lettuce, which has commonly been linked to cases across multiple other states, is currently not being tested as a potential link here in North Carolina. New questions tonight after state health leaders say lettuce, one of the foods commonly linked to the multi-state cyclosporiasis illness, had this to say about how North Carolina is handling the disease.
At this time, we are not conducting any testing of lettuce products related to this cyclosporiasis outbreak.
You know what's funny to me is that these people, I think the corruption runs so crazy and deep. What does she mean they're not testing for it when we see this crazy outbreak?
Can you believe that they're not even bothering to test the lettuce while cases continue to spike? It feels like it's been going on forever. Like, I just want to eat a salad without any fear of getting this parasite. Now, I want to point out that one of the reasons why identifying the source of this parasite is so difficult is that it does have a long incubation period. So many of these people don't even show symptoms until about 14 days after consuming the parasite-ridden food. So it's extremely hard to trace where exactly did this come from when it's been 2 weeks. That's why it's incredibly important to know what to avoid to reduce our chances of getting sick. This is not just lettuce. That's how we thought it started, but it's spread to a variety of fruits and vegetables, all healthy foods, which is really sad. There's a lot of common foods that are suspected to carry these pathogens. That includes all types of salad greens, not just lettuce, cilantro, basil, parsley, raspberries, blueberries, green onions, and snow peas. And that's only the current list of suspects. So if you go to the mainstream media, they're going to give you some less than optimal advice.
Yeah, let's pull up our next graphic. You know, it's funny and it's sad because you don't know what to eat. You don't want to eat something and then end up having it. And to your point at the beginning, it's funny because I think I had it at some point like months ago. I mean, insane amount of you know what going on, and it's funny that it's just like COVID. You know, at one point they go, "Oh, we found the first case," and it's like, "No, a whole bunch of people had this before." But anyway, let's get back to the topic here. Here is one of the graphics here. Put that back on the screen. I want to make sure I look at that. It says, "What to order instead? Lettuce-free meals from McDonald's." I don't even. Maybe not even eating at McDonald's would be a start. But anyway,
Exactly.
you know, let's continue. Let's continue.
Yeah, so as you can see on that chart, they're giving you suggestions for fast food menu items that don't include lettuce. So we're talking about ultra-processed foods that are missing the one healthy ingredient, vegetables. So don't get the wrong idea. You should still continue to eat fruits and vegetables and other healthy foods. Now, the thing about parasites and other microbial threats like fungi, bacteria, and viruses is that you can be exposed to them, but they're only able to multiply in environments where they're able to thrive. So just like COVID, you need to take care of yourself. You've heard it before, but it needs to be repeated. About 80% of our immune system is our gut, and that's the balance of good and bad bacteria. It ultimately determines how vulnerable we are to these pathogens. So you could have two very different people with two distinct microbiomes. They can eat the same exact quantity of tainted food. One might get sick and die, and the other may never get sick at all. Now, because the weakness or strength of our immune system will either allow the pathogen to multiply to a degree where we become ill, or it will fight back quickly enough before they grow to a quantity that results in illness. I always like to tell people this. So if you know Kim Bright, she's the founder of our company. She's 71 years old now. She literally never gets sick. She's always around her grandkids, and she's not scared to be around sick people because her immune system is so strong. She lives a healthy lifestyle and is really focused on nourishing her gut microbiome, and therefore her immune system is incredible. Talk about goals. There's a reason why RFK Jr. has been telling us to eat more kimchi.
Yeah, that's interesting. We have a display graphic here. Study kimchi can prevent food poisoning. I think it's incredible. Like one of the things that I think that people should understand, and you mentioned it just recently, is how important the gut is. Like if your gut is messed up, it will affect all kinds of different things in your body that you're not very aware of. But let's continue to talk through this.
Yeah, I love this topic because years ago I used to have gut problems, and then once I cleaned up my diet, suddenly nothing at all. So in this particular study, it highlighted kimchi's ability to prevent food poisoning because of its strong antimicrobial properties. Now, kimchi helps your body fight off viruses like the flu. One recent study found that kimchi can slow down the growth of the common flu. And a big reason for that is because it supports your immune system. So just think of kimchi as helping your immune system to stay balanced. It strengthens important immune cells that act like scouts, spotting viruses early. At the same time, it helps regulate your body's response so it doesn't overreact. That matters because in some serious infections, it's not just the virus that causes damage, it's the body going into overdrive with too much inflammation. And kimchi has been shown to significantly reduce inflammation and oxidative stress. During the early days of COVID-19, South Korea had a much lower death rate compared to every other country. And some researchers believe that it's because of Korea's high daily intake of kimchi that may have played a role. Kimchi is packed with bioactive compounds and probiotics that may make it harder for viruses to enter human cells. This same thing was also noticed during the 2003 SARS outbreak. South Korea reported 0 deaths, and researchers again looked at kimchi's antiviral and probiotic properties as the determining factor. Kimchi has amazing antifungal properties due to being rich in beneficial bacteria like Lactobacillus plantarum and Lactobacillus sakei. As kimchi ferments, these bacteria produce natural compounds that make it nearly impossible for molds and yeasts to grow. In lab studies, certain strains found in kimchi have reduced the growth of harmful molds like Aspergillus by up to 97%. They basically create an acidic, unfriendly environment that fungi cannot thrive in. So kimchi's probiotics have also been shown to prevent candida. It's a common yeast that can overgrow, especially after taking antibiotics. So if antibiotics have wiped out some of your good bacteria, fermented foods like kimchi can help to rebuild that protective layer. In simple terms, kimchi helps your body crowd out fungi, bacteria, and even parasites while strengthening your natural defenses at the same time. The key to fostering an environment where your immune system can thrive is daily consumption, and that's why we created Kimchi One. It has all of the power of kimchi in a convenient capsule. Whether you enjoy kimchi or not, it's not one of those foods that you want to eat every day. It's one of those foods where it just might sit in your fridge all the time. That's how I was until I found this product. So we use a cold process drying method that retains all of the fiber and nutrition of actual fermented kimchi. Kimchi One is low in sodium, unlike store-bought. It's 100% made in the USA, which is essential for ensuring quality. It's all natural, non-GMO. And we have so many success stories that I'd like to share with you if you have a moment. So people who had problems with their digestion and bloating are regular now. People who had problems with their immune system and used to get sick all the time aren't getting sick anymore. People who were dealing with brain fog and problems with their mood are now thinking clearly and have a positive outlook. And there's also a study showing kimchi helped overweight people lower their body fat by 31.8%. So maybe I could get on another time and talk about how that may be better than some other popular weight loss products on the market.
Yeah. Let's get. We got another graphic here. Can you pull that graphic up? You know, it's funny. It's funny because all the guys here freaking love kimchi. They love Kimchi One. And it is absolutely incredible. But anyway, you got a special presentation for the audience, for people that follow me. Can you tell us more about that?
We sure do. Okay, so we are giving 25% off for people who click the link below and use the code Tatum. Or you can call 888-751-4429 for up to 50% off plus free shipping. Also, we have another special bonus. The first 100 callers will get a free bottle of Revive capsules with their order. Revive is another great product that we sell. It contains 5 types of collagen, hyaluronic acid, biotin, and vitamin C to reduce wrinkles, help you grow thicker, healthier hair, and even support stronger bones and joints. So remember, it's important to note that you can only get the best discounts and the free bottle of Revive capsules when you call. So again, that number is 888-751-4429.
And guys, if you missed it, we'll put the link in the description section. Allison, thank you so much. It's been incredibly informative, and we need to make sure that we're increasing our kimchi intake because I don't need anybody getting sick with explosive diarrhea at the headquarters. I'm talking to my staff too. So, Allison, thank you so much for coming on. God bless you, and I appreciate you guys.
Same to you. Thank you.